Good morning, I'm Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. NewsX's sister publication, The Sunday Guardian, has put out an article that has triggered unelected Bangladesh Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus. This op-ed has been written by the editorial director, Professor Madhav Nalapat, and it delves into how Bangladesh has in effect become a captive of extremists who are using the standing within much of the international community of Yunus to camouflage and whitewash the atrocities that they are doing. Additionally, the article speculates that Yunus is planning to flee into exile, possibly to the UK, where he supposedly has significant investments. Well, joining us, in fact, to comment on this big story is Mohibul Hassan Chaudhry Nofal, former Education Minister of Bangladesh. Thank you very much for joining us today on NewsX, Mohibulji.
Thank you. Thank you for connecting me to your channel today.
What do you make of this reaction by Mohammad Yunus to this Sunday Guardian op-ed, this Sunday Guardian article, which is showing a mirror to his dispensation?
He did not expect this from Sunday Guardian, that a respected media outlet would clinically put it to the world what he's up to, who he's representing, and what he has been doing. So he has, of course, he's been taken aback and he wants to protest. And you've seen that using his social media presence, his pages, which are, of course, all illegal pages, because the position of chief advisor doesn't exist in our constitution. It is something that he has created for himself by fraudulently claiming that there was a Supreme Court hearing which created this post for him, etc. So his shenanigans are out there. His fraud that he has done, the frauds that he has done, the constitutional fraud in the name of this so-called monsoon revolution is out there in the public. So obviously he's concerned. He does not have any legality, no constitutional validity, and now that across the world, people see what he's up to, what he is, in fact, in the disguise of a Nobel laureate. He's very concerned, naturally.
Yes. Do you believe, interestingly, that because the truth has been exposed, that has rattled Dr. Yunus and his dispensation? Interestingly, they haven't rebutted, denied, or replied to these charges, but merely, of course, showed their angst by posting about this on X.
Absolutely. I mean, the man runs fraudulent activity of international scale. I'll give you a little example. When I was in the Education Ministry, I headed the UNESCO Commission in Bangladesh as being the ex-officio chairman. Being the education minister. He ran an article and a news, in fact, claiming that UNESCO in Azerbaijan gave him an UNESCO award. Now, we wrote to UNESCO and asked whether he was given an award. And UNESCO wrote back to us and said that in an event where he was invited, he was given a souvenir, which he then claimed that he was given a UNESCO award. The man loves to adorn himself with different foreign awards. And in fact, in the budget that he has declared just day before yesterday, he has declared 9 kinds of international awards tax-free in order to legalize his illegal earnings, which he claims that he earned through awards. And he has even included Nobel Prize as a tax-free income source. Now, I don't know how many people get Nobel Prize from Bangladesh on a yearly basis. I have no idea. Of course, he wants to legalize his earnings, claiming that all these awards were given as part of him being a Nobel laureate, and he's just paving the path for his earnings to be legalized. As soon as he came to power, he has removed all the tax evasion charges. In fact, there was a 600 crore tax claim on the entities that he controlled, and he owned around 600 crore tax was due to be paid to the government treasury, and he exempted all his entities from taxation. So it's not just ideological criminality that that man actually partakes in. It is also tax evasion type financial crimes that he's involved in. So the whole world now can see what he's up to. He has awarded himself a manpower license, awarded himself a private university license, awarded himself all these parts.
Yes. Mohibur Hassan, also, what do you make of the contents of this article? This op-ed, obviously, that has rattled the dispensation. Do you agree with all that has been said? The fact that, these extremists are using Dr. Yunus's acceptability, image abroad, to shield what is actually happening internally in Bangladesh? Do you also believe possibly he may be fleeing into exile very, very soon? Do you agree with all that has been written in this article? And do you believe it is the truth?
I'm not sure to what extent he's ready to go on. He's ready to leave the country and take asylum abroad. I'm not sure about that. But what I am 100% sure, and what the article is absolutely spot on, is that his brand, or at least the global identity that he has built over the years through lots of fraudulent activities, is being used by the deep state of certain countries, including Pakistan and its intelligence agencies, to establish the anti-state elements in Bangladesh and re-establish their terror infrastructure. And it is absolutely spot on that. So they needed a face. So we have seen in the West how left liberals had been promoting the agenda of ultra-religious Islamist right in the name of Islamophobia, and using it as an excuse to validate, legalize all the criminal activities of these groups. The same has happened in Bangladesh. The deep state elements of Pakistan and different countries used Yunus's name to re-establish the terror network that they built painstakingly for 21 years in Bangladesh following our independence. They wanted to rebuild it. After our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina took the charge, she dismantled the entire terror infrastructure, which Yunus, his colleagues, as well as the backers did not like. They wanted Bangladesh to be a theater of war and trouble in the region, as they did in Peshawar and other places in Pakistan, as we have seen.
Yes.
So it is absolutely spot on. So of course, him being a proxy of certain elements, including the extremists, is out there. In fact, the backers, the crazy radicals whom he is promoting back in Bangladesh, the quote unquote the anti-discrimination movement, his newly formed party NCP, they are now saying the word Islamophobia in Bangladesh, claiming that they are now victim of Islamophobia, or the extremists are victims of Islamophobia. Now, in a country of 90%,
we are of course seeing also how the Sunday Guard, as you were saying, a lot of the contents of this article are absolutely bang on. And obviously that is what has rattled Muhammad Yunus and his dispensation, that someone is showing them the mirror. Do you believe, like how the Sunday Guardian has done in this piece, other world media also now must report the facts? They owe it to their conscience to speak up, and speak up now. Also, perhaps world leaders need to begin speaking up on this matter. Silence will not work, otherwise they are complicit as well.
Absolutely. You see, many of the Western outlets were totally silent on the issue of repression, torture, and killing of religious minorities, of progressive liberals, of Awami League activists across the country before the 5th of August and after the 5th of August. Hundreds of policemen are missing still. They are not attending work, and many of them are feared to be dead. They were totally silent, and Yunus spent a lot of money through his PR agencies in the Western world to not even raise finger on these particular issues. And of course, thanks to outlets like Sunday Guardian, all these scams and all the repressions that he had been doing, running in the country, are now being exposed. So I think the global media, I think those who claim to represent progressive secular liberals in the Muslim world should now speak up. But what have we seen? We have been seeing a trend in some of these outlets where they use the term Islamophobia to mask these atrocities, to silence the discussion on repression on religious, ethnic, and political minorities and dissidents. So they have their position will also have to change. They have to wake up to the reality. We've seen it in the UK, how extremists are running their operations within the country, and yet certain sections of the country, they continuously try to defend them, and now how they're being affected. And if they don't wake up now, if they don't read this article, if they don't look at the contents which are routinely being published in many different regional outlets here in this part of the world, they will also have to suffer the consequence that we are going through in Bangladesh.
Okay, let me in fact ask you my final question then, Mohibulji. What do you see the near future looking like for Bangladesh? Where do you see this situation headed in the short term for your country?
Average Bangladeshi people, by and large, are secular, are peace-loving, are liberal Muslims, most of them. But within us, we do have a significant minority who subscribe to the extremist version of our religion. Since 1971, this section was there. We could not get rid of them. Of course, we had to pardon these elements. After 1975, they were institutionally re-established. Around 25% of the country in the Pakistan era voted in favor of Pakistan. And that 25% had been given state assistance post-1975 after our father of the nation was killed. So that powerful, significant minority has a lot of representation and participation in the governmental structure. Despite that, we were able to regulate, contain terrorism, violence, and terror infrastructure within the country.
Right.
We did that successfully, and in the short run, we feel that the majority of the people, we do know that they will rise up like they did in 1971, like they did through different elections, which is why Mr. Yunus is scared of elections. If he is truly democratic, he should call in an election, let Awami League participate and all the political parties participate, and see what the people's verdict will be.
All right, Mohibul Hassan Chaudhry Naufal, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective on this big story. Shifting our focus now to more news coming in. Sources tell us Operation Sindoor is India's fight against terrorism. Sources tell us Pakistan lost 6 jets, 2 airborne warning and control systems. In total, 30 Pakistani missiles were destroyed during Operation Sindoor. These, of course, are the big updates we are tracking for you. Sources telling us Pakistan lost 6 jets, 2 airborne warning and control systems. 30 Pakistani missiles were destroyed. Ajay Jandial is joining us for more on this story. Ajay, what were the losses on the Pakistani side? What are your sources telling you?
Yes, the fresh disclosure clearly shows that Pakistan have faced heavy losses during the Indian forces retaliation, and 6 jets and cargo aircraft and other air defense system was lost in Indian retaliation, and Indian retaliation was very specific to ensure that Pakistan's plan of disturbing peace and Pakistan's plan of targeting the Indian defense installation that has to be foiled. And this fresh disclosure clearly shows that how specific target was achieved by the forces to ensure that Pakistan will not be able to disturb peace or carry out further attack, because right after when their terror launch pads were hit, Pakistan started hitting out on the defense installation over here. in Jammu and Kashmir, in Rajasthan, in Punjab, and in Gujarat. But it was all foiled, and when Indian retaliation took place, they have destroyed their number of fighter jets and cargo planes and other air defense system, which Pakistan was thinking that it is going to help them to save their defense areas and save the terrorists, those who are hiding over there.
More breaking news coming in. Ajay, stay with us. Well, sources are telling us as far as Pakistan's weaponry losses are concerned, Pakistan lost a total of 8 F-16 fighter jets, 4 Chinese JF-16 fighter jets, 1 C-130 Hercules cargo plane, 3 HQ-9 defense systems, 2 surface-to-surface missile intercepted, 2 mobile command centers, 2 hypersonic cruise missiles and 1 airborne early warning and control aircraft. So more information coming in on the losses suffered by Pakistan. Ajay, take us through the details on the jets and the other, losses on the Pakistani side.
Yes, it was not only the J5 but also the J7 but also the F-16 the Pakistan have lost in this retaliation, and it was basically planned in such a way that there is no civilian casualty, and that is what the bravery of Indian forces have shown, that they haven't tried to hit out on the civil targets in Pakistan, what Pakistan was doing, but they have ensured that Pakistan's plan of hitting out at the Indian defense areas and civilian area, that has to be foiled, because right after their terror launch pads were hit in the VR during 6 and 7, Pakistan opened fire and violated ceasefire and started targeting the civilian areas. And then Pakistan attempted to target the defense installation in Jammu and Kashmir, in Pathankot, in Gujarat, and in Rajasthan. But when retaliation started, it was to ensure that Pakistan will not be able to flee, because Pakistan have attempted to, use their aircraft fighter jets to, enter the Indian side and then to target the defense installation like air bases over here. But it was effectively, retaliation. It was the Air Force who have targeted them there within the Pakistan, and deep inside Pakistani aircraft was also targeted and destroyed by the forces.
Absolutely. In fact, more breaking news now coming in. As per our sources, India's Rafale and Su-30 jets also destroyed China's Wing-Lung series medium altitude long endurance drones. Major General PK Sehgal, defense expert, is with us live. Major General Sehgal, big losses being suffered by Pakistan, from jets to missiles to their AVAC system. Major General Sehgal, clearly lot of losses on Pakistan's end during Operation Sindoor.
Apparently, these losses are absolutely appalling, and it will cost Pakistan, being a Kangal nation, will never be able to recoup these losses ever again. Loss of 8 F-16 is absolutely stupendous. Shooting down of a Hercules aircraft as well as AVAX. AVAX cost upwards of 1,000 crores. It's a huge loss, and we've also destroyed very many Chinese systems, whether it be air defense, whether it be radars, thereby clearly indicating to the world that the Chinese equipment was bogus, or alternatively Pakistani troops were not so well trained to exploit them to the maximum. Apparently, the Indians have acted and shown tremendous amount of restraint, that notwithstanding their losses on Pakistani side are huge, and all the 11 air bases that we hit, plus Pakistan also claims that we hit 7 or 8 more places. When you include the losses there, whose details are not yet known, apparently I think 1/3 of the Pakistani Air Force, or good about 25 to 30% of the Pakistani Air Force would have been destroyed on ground, because we hit not only the runways, but we hit the technical areas as well as the hangars. Any aircraft undergoing overhaul or repair or maintenance in the hangars would have been destroyed, and similarly any aircraft in the technical area would have got destroyed. And
yes, in fact, it seems that India's Rafales were very effective. Su-30 jets also, Ajay, played a crucial role. China's long endurance drones also, were immediately neutralized.
They're absolutely outstanding.
Ajay, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost Ajay. Yes, Major General Sehgal. Major General Sehgal, yes, you were coming in there.
I said Rafale is an outstanding purchase that we made. Though at that point of time, some of the opposition leaders, particularly Rahul Gandhi, etc., had played havoc with the government. But that notwithstanding the type of weaponry that it carries, the Meteor missile, which is beyond visual range missile, 200 kilometers range, and the Scalp missile, which has got a range up to 350 to 500 kilometers, and the Hammer missile, which can destroy any hardened target, has absolutely shown their efficacy beyond an aircraft doubt. Rafale has emerged as one of the key players on the Indian side and has given a huge amount of losses and devastation, inflicted devastation to Pakistan.
Yes. More breaking news coming in. Stay with us. According to our sources, the Indian Air Force has shot down over 10 unmanned combat aerial vehicles aimed at different air bases over Pakistani airspace. So these unmanned, air vehicles were shot down by us over the Pakistani airspace itself. Major General Sehgal.
Just coming in. Hello.
Ajay Jandia, let me get you in here. I think we've lost that connection with General Sehgal. Ajay, 10 Pakistani UCAVs being shot down by our air defense system as well. These were reportedly being aimed at our air bases. That was the attempt.
Yes, Pakistan basically was trying to, target the defense installation by using the, unmanned aerial vehicle. And this is basically to spy our side, as well as their plan was to target the defense installation and the major defense, this civilian areas as well. But our, anti-defense system that was activated immediately, and more than 300 drones and UAVs, which includes UAVs as well, that have been destroyed by the Indian air defense system, and that was well in place in different locations to ensure that Pakistan's nefarious plan has to be thwarted. And it happens when Pakistan was already on the ready mode, because right after Pahalgam attack took place, India have categorically conveyed Pakistan that they will, not spare the terrorists and the terrorist perpetrators, those who are sitting across as well. So Pakistan was, fully prepared for the war, and they have deployed their air defense system, their tanks, their artilleries and fighter jets on the across the line of control in the international border area. Even they were seen scrambling over there. But when it comes to the retaliation, Indian retaliation, then Pakistan attempt to target the defense installation, the civilians in this area, Indian action was well effective, and they have destroyed their drone, they have destroyed their fighter jets, and also these UAVs, which Pakistan was using to spy, and also to target the areas over here in the part of different parts of the Jammu and Kashmir and other states.
Yes, in fact, more breaking news now coming in. According to our sources, one high-value aerial asset was also taken out by a long-range strike at a distance of approximately 300 kilometers. This could be either electronic countermeasures aircraft or an airborne early warning or control aircraft. That's what sources are telling us. Major General Sehgal is live with us. Major General Sehgal, this is a big news coming in. Our sources telling us a high-value aerial asset was indeed taken out by India by a long-range strike.
Absolutely. It's a confirmed news. I think Pakistan has lost an AWACS and one or two aerial early warning aircraft, which they had bought from Sweden. This is a huge loss as far as the air efficacy is concerned and air operations are concerned. In any future conflict with India, they'll be absolutely on the back foot. We completely wiped out their air defense system. They wiped out their radars. And Pakistan did not launch 300 drones against us. They launched over a period of 3 days. They launched about 1,000 drones against us. Several missiles and several aircraft were used against us, but none of them were able to penetrate the air defense wall that they had created. India's Akash Speed system, which was unfurled only 1 year back, turned out to be an absolute game changer. A thing like that is not available today with Russia or with America or with China or even with Israel. Israel's Iron Dome is nowhere near what we were able to do, because several Hamas drones, etc., or Houthi drones or Hezbollah drones did reach Israel and carried out full 1,000 were fired against us. Not a single one went through.
Absolutely. More breaking news meanwhile coming in. Stay with us. According to our sources, Pakistan lost a Swedish origin AEWC aircraft at Bolari Air Base with air-to-surface cruise missiles. So the losses were pretty immense at the Bolari Air Base. Ajay Jandial, we are learning that a Swedish origin AEWC aircraft was also lost by Pakistan there. Ajay.
Yes, Uday, you rightly said, and AWCAS aircraft basically was in Pakistan, and it is having a capability of launch a air-to-surface missile as well. And when it was hit, and it was destroyed, it was carrying the missiles as well, and it was ready to attempt and target the defense areas over here in the country. But it was preempted by the forces, and they have taken action and destroyed this aircraft as well. So number of fighter jets they have lost, including this AWS ACS. This is one of aircraft which was expecting, Indian forces were expecting that could be used to target deep inside the Indian side, and that was to target the defense and the major air bases of India, but it was destroyed on time.
Yes, indeed. More breaking developments coming in. According to our sources, Indian cruise missiles and surface-to-air missiles shot down multiple Pakistani cruise missiles. Major General Sehgal is live with us. Major General Sehgal, multiple Pakistani cruise missiles being shot by India. In fact, it was our cruise missiles and our surface-to-air missiles which were used for this.
Right, India's surface-to-air missile, in terms of BrahMos, etc., our cruise missiles, which is also BrahMos, were absolutely, totally efficacious. Pakistan was not able to detect them or neutralize them at all. All missiles fired by Pakistan, whether it was surface-to-air missile or whether it was a cruise missile, was totally shot down by our S-400 and by the Barak system. And those were able to penetrate through, were thereafter taken care of by the Akash missile air defense system. And the L-70s, etc., and the Su-23mm Pichora missiles, Osa Aka, played absolutely a sterling role. None of them were able to. Pakistani losses have been truly staggering. Given the state of the economy, they will take not less than 10 odd years to be able to recoup their losses. Even to get their air bases functioning again will be a huge effort of not less than a couple of years for Pakistan. Under the circumstances, I don't think there's any threat whatsoever from the Pakistani side to India for the next several years.
Yes.
Or maybe for the next 10 years. However, as far as the skipper cells in India is concerned, the aircraft columns are concerned, and sympathizers in India are concerned, terrorist activity can once again take place. And India has already and categorically made known to Pakistan and known to the world that any future terrorist act would be met with
absolutely. That warning has been sent out by us very, very clearly. Major General Sehgal and Ajay Jande, I'll appreciate you joining us. India is seeing a rapid surge in COVID-19 cases. Uttar Pradesh's Noida has seen a surge in COVID numbers. They've reported 45 new cases in the last 24 hours. Over 100 cases have been reported out of Noida in the past 3 days. 3 patients are under 18 years of age. With the recent surge across the nation, the Health Department and ICMR have urged people not to panic but to take necessary precautions. Mahindra Mai is joining us for more on this story. Mahindra, big spike being witnessed in Noida?
बिल्कुल देखिए, ये बड़ी खबर है नोएडा से और ग्रेटर नोएडा से, जहां पिछले 24 घंटे में 45 जो है कोरोना के नए मरीज आए हैं, जिनमें एक ही 3 परिवार के 10 लोग शामिल हैं और इसमें जो 18 साल से कम जिनकी उम्र है वो भी इसमें अब कोविड संक्रमित हो चुके हैं। और कुल मिलाकर पूरे जनपद में बात करें, यानी कि नोएडा और ग्रेटर नोएडा में 108 कोविड जो मरीज हैं वो शामिल है और तकरीबन 6 लोग ऐसे हैं जिनको उनकी रिपोर्ट नेगेटिव आई है, यानी कि अब जो है 102 जो सक्रिय मरीज हैं वो पूरे जनपद में शामिल है। दूसरी तरफ हम लगातार देख रहे हैं किस तरीके से पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में सबसे ज्यादा जो केस है वो नोएडा में पाए जा रहे हैं। तकरीबन हर दूसरे दिन यहाँ 14 से 15 केस आ रहे हैं और ऐसे में जो स्वास्थ्य विभाग है उसकी लापरवाही सामने निकल कर आ रही है। स्वास्थ्य विभाग अगर आप जिला अस्पताल जाते हैं तो वहाँ डॉक्टर, स्टाफ, नर्स कोई मास्क नहीं पहनता, ना ही वो किसी मरीजों को बताता है कि देखिए आप जब आप आते हैं जिला अस्पताल तो वहाँ चेहरे पे मास्क लगाए या ना लगाए, इस तरह की कोई अवेयरनेस कैंपेनिंग एक तरीके से कह सकते हैं स्वास्थ्य विभाग की तरफ से नहीं चलाया जा रहा, जिसका नतीजा ये रहा कि 45 मामले 24 घंटे में आए। इससे पहले हमने देखा शनिवार संडे को एक मामला सामने आया था। कारण ये बताया जा रहा है कि देखिए, क्योंकि नोएडा दिल्ली के जो लोग हैं हर दिन अप डाउन करते हैं कामकाज के लिए, लाखों लोग हैं जो बस का सफर भी करते हैं, मेट्रो का भी सफर करते हैं और निजी वाहनों का सफर करते हैं। मार्केट और बिजनेस के पर्पज से नोएडा दिल्ली जाना लगा रहता है। तो जब ये एक तरीके से कह सकते हैं कॉन्टेक्ट बेस्ड ये कोविड है, और अधिकतर मामलों में जो मरीज सभी मरीज हैं वो होम आइसोलेशन पे हैं। और डॉक्टर का साफ तौर पे कहना है कि देखिए हमारी जो टीम है वो लगातार इन पे मॉनिटरिंग कर रही है कि कोई पेशेंट है जो होम आइसोलेशन पे, उसको कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है, उसको बेड की जरूरत तो नहीं पड़ रही, उसको आईसीयू की जरूरत तो नहीं पड़ रही, या किसी भी मरीज को कोई मेजर सिम्टम तो नहीं है। तो अच्छी बात यह है कि कोई भी मरीज उस लेवल तक नहीं गया कि उसको आईसीयू बेड देना पड़े। सभी मरीज होम आइसोलेशन पे हैं और धीरे धीरे वो सभी मरीज ठीक हो रहे हैं। मगर आंकड़ा चिंताजनक है कि अगर एक दिन में 45 मरीज आ रहे हैं तो आने वाले समय में ये संख्या और बढ़ सकती है। और पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में सबसे अधिक जो कोविड के केस हैं
जी
वो नोएडा और ग्रेटर नोएडा में। जी
महेंद्र भाई, शुक्रिया हमारे संग जुड़ने के लिए। वक्त अब हो चुका है एक छोटे से ब्रेक का। ब्रेक के लिए रुकते हैं हम। ब्रेक के बाद सुर्खियों का सिलसिला जारी है।